Rogers, a YouTube channel where we take topics in the news, celebrity or otherwise, and we discuss them through various views. So the topic I would like to discuss today is coming out of Hanceville, Alabama. Now, Hanceville, Alabama is about 45 minutes north of Birmingham, Alabama. It has a population of about 3,200 people, so it's a very small community. Now, what happened in this town was back in February of this year, a 911 dispatcher died on the job. And so, of course, they had to find out the cause of death. And the cause of death turned out to be of a drug overdose. And he had multiple drugs in his system. The reports say a cocktail of drugs in his system. And so that led to the question of where did all these drugs come from? So upon further investigation, they found out that he had access to the police evidence room, the 911 dispatcher. And so, being that there have been many complaints on this police department from citizens in regards to misuse of authority, police brutality, so forth, harassment and unfair treatment, that led the State Bureau of Investigations to launch an actual investigation of this police department. And so they ended up auditing the evidence room. And this audit brought up the fact that there were several items missing from the evidence room. There were many firearms that were not documented. There were firearms that were missing. There were portions of the drugs in this evidence room that were missing, from fentanyl to oxycodone pills to cocaine. Whatever type of drug they had in this evidence room, portions of these drugs were missing. Okay? And then they found out that pretty much everybody, all the police officers and all the staff and personnel had access to this evidence room, and everybody just running in and out of this evidence room, getting what they want, okay, using it, selling it, giving it away, whatever they were doing with it. It was just a big free-for-all, right? So there were 4 officers and the police chief as well. They were all indicted of charges that included accusations of mishandling evidence and removing evidence from the evidence room. Now, they also were charged with misuse of state criminal databases and the distribution of controlled substances. Okay? And the department's mismanagement of the evidence, it left the evidence unusable. So a lot of people that were charged, and convicted, they're going to have a redo, because has been made clear that these officers were not following protocol and were misusing and mishandling evidence. Now, the mayor, he decided to completely shut down the whole entire police department. He put everybody on administrative leave, and the calls, any 911 calls or, calls for police assistance, they are being routed to the sheriff's department, the Coleman County Sheriff's Department, right? So they are basically getting ready to fire everybody, and they are searching for new officers and new personnel. Now, they also have been labeled by the grand jury who indicted and oversaw the proceedings of these officers, they said that this police department operated as a criminal enterprise, that they were more of a criminal enterprise than they were a law enforcement agency. And so I think this is evidence that when you give people, certain people, certain types of power and the freedom to kind of maneuver how they see fit, they don't do the right thing. And this is, I feel, further evidence that police do not need immunity. The current administration wants to give all police officers complete and total immunity, and this situation is evidence that they cannot handle that. They just can't. I even did a video about the state of Alabama and how they are being sued because they are misusing their inmates and using them as cheap labor and essentially modern day slaves. Another example of they cannot handle the responsibilities and the autonomy and the certain level of power and control that comes along with working in law enforcement. They're not going to do the right thing. They're not going to do the right thing. And I believe that this is not local. This is not isolated to just the state of Alabama. I believe this is going on in many police departments all around the country. I think they all should be investigated in the same manner as this police department was. All the evidence rooms need to be audited, and probably most of the officers need to be placed on leave and replaced, period. Okay? They have shown time and time again that they cannot handle it. Now, I don't know if it's a certain type of personality that only wants to be a police officer or work in law enforcement, and that's why you have so much corruption. I don't know if maybe they come in, with good intentions, and then they're corrupted later on. I mean, I'm not sure why this is so common in this field of work for people just to be low down, no good, immoral, and poor character. I don't understand. I don't. But that seems to be what it is. So maybe they need to raise the hiring standards. Maybe they need to look into different personality types for this type of work. I'm not sure, but what I do know is what is happening now is not giving us the best of what the service is supposed to provide. Okay. So that's what I wanted to touch on with that. I just thought it was very interesting that an entire police department was just completely shut down and overhauled. And then, meanwhile, we have a government or an administration, at least, that wants to give all the police officers complete immunity. And this is the type of things that they do. Okay? This is, as my mom would say, this is their MO. So, I wanted to touch on that. And I also wanted to touch on the current administration and the state of the administration and how they just seem to be running amok. Okay. Now, I did a video on the reasons why I felt Kamala Harris did not win. And I do believe those reasons are true. The reasons that I stated. Now, I also think that people that voted for this administration, I think that they believed what they wanted to believe, right? Because my mother would always say, when people show you who they are, believe them. And this administration did just that. They showed us exactly who they were. the first go round and even during their campaigning on this go round. Now with the Project 2025, which is basically turning this country upside down, he tried to deny that he knew anything about it, which I did not take that as true. But for some reason, a lot of people ignored it and believed that because he said he didn't know anything about it, that, oh, he don't know anything about it. They believed him. And now that he's doing exactly what they said that he was going to do, I mean, he's not trying to stop it. I mean, and even if he didn't know about it, you know about it now, but you're not trying to stop it. So I just think people believed what they wanted to believe. People had their own selfish reasons, you know, even though they knew that they would probably go against their self-interest in this area because they wanted something in that area. They were okay with it until now. Now that it is hitting them at their knocking at their front door. Now they want to protest and want everybody to get out and protest and all this and the third, but it's like, I mean, you knew. I mean, you might have acted like you didn't know. You may have ignored the truth, but I can't see how anybody didn't know, because I feel like this administration said loud and clear what their intentions were. Okay. So, but I will delve more into that on another video. I was trying to wait for, things to play out so that way I can kind of bring everything together. But it's so much happening, like literally every day. It's just something more and more every day, more and more every day. It's like, okay, when is it ever going to stop? So I'm just going to go ahead and go with what is already out now, because it's not going to stop. It's just going to be more and more and more and more and more. And maybe in the end, I'll kind of be able to bring it all full circle and bring it all together. That's the hope. And like I said, we just going to have to buckle up and, make sure we good, and just kind of position ourselves as best we can to weather this storm, because it's definitely a storm and it's just getting started. So but that's all I wanted to talk about today, just real quick. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.